to the webcast today. We're going to let a few more people join. It looks like they're still coming in, and we'll begin momentarily. Hang tight. Okay, let's get started. Hello and welcome to today's web seminar, 2015 Holiday Weekend by the Numbers. I'm your host, Ashley Peterson. Before we begin the presentation, I have a few housekeeping notes for you. You are currently in the listen-only mode. If you experience any technical difficulties during the webinar, click on the Help button at the top of your player console, and that will connect you with the GoToWebinar help desk. Also, this is an interactive session, so please feel free to type any questions you have into the questions box at the bottom of your player console, and we'll get those questions answered during our Q&A portion at the end of the session today. And I would like to mention that today's presentation is being recorded and will be available for future playback. And lastly, we would love to hear from you, so feel free to tweet us at NetElixir. Okay, so before you tweet us, you may want to know a little bit more about us. For over 10 years, NetElixir has delivered proven search marketing strategies which uncover actionable insights that companies can use to grow their business online. From pet supplies to hotels or even computers, we work with leading B2B and B2C brands in every retail sector. With a growing team of 85 fanatically analytical search marketers operating in 3 countries, we know that no two businesses are the same, and neither are the campaigns we build for our clients. Our expertise and proprietary technology work beyond just numbers and clicks to help you understand not only how to reach your customers, but who your customers really are and what drives them to click in the first place. And by humanizing every click, we work side by side with our clients to create successful online marketing strategies that deliver real results. Now, on to our main event. Let me introduce you to the person who has been excitedly analyzing this weekend's holiday results. NetElixir founder and CEO, Udayan Bose. He is a world-renowned speaker and guest lecturer, having recently spoke at Johnson School of Management at Cornell University, the City University of New York, and at the Indian School of Business. So Udayan, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Ashley. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining our annual Thanksgiving weekend webinar. What I'll try to do is I'll just sort of try to explain, first of all, as to how did you really sort of get to this point and how did we do the research, etc. But let me get back to the slide that I was on. Excellent. What was the basis of the presentation? So our retail intelligence cell essentially has been aggregating all the search marketing data as well as the website e-commerce data for our holiday clients. Just to give you an estimate as to our holiday clients aggregate holiday revenue is a little upwards of $300 million. The data was captured by us separately for desktop and mobile. Some of the initial findings would be more pertinent for the desktop, and then we'll be separately sharing some mobile results as well. Last but not the least, I think one very interesting consumer behavior patterns that we sort of detected over this holiday. We used our proprietary technology called LXR Insights to gain that information. This has been just such an amazing holiday season that we are seeing a huge transformation and change in how people search, shop, and buy online. So through this slide, we will try to capture some of those insights for you. And last but not the least, we sort of end the section with some recommendations that we have found based on our experience of managing search marketing campaigns for over 350 retailers now worldwide. So let me start off with the numbers first. So we observed that the sales during the Thanksgiving weekend, which is essentially started on the 26th of November and till Cyber Monday, which was 30th of November, the overall sales went up for the data set that we sort of were tracking by about 20%, a little more than 20%. The average cost per click went up by 4.3%. The impressions went up by 24%, and the interesting part for us was the average order value actually declined compared to last year. So there was a 9% lesser average order value that we recorded for the holiday clients that we have been sort of tracking for the purposes of our our campaigns. So the interesting observation in this probably is the average order value to me personally is very interesting, primarily because with continued discounting promotions starting well before Thanksgiving Day, we feel that the margins are getting significantly eroded and the price points are constantly coming down, and that seems to be very clearly in play out here. So it's the question of how much additional volume sacrificing how much margin. That's the question which seems to be pertinent out here. Moving on, we have tried to capture or segregate the orders by day. So on Thanksgiving Day, we have about 16% of the entire set of orders. So when I say entire set of orders, I'm taking this time period, which is Thanksgiving, Black Friday, the Saturday, Sunday, and Cyber Monday. So of that 5-day chunk, Thanksgiving orders accounted for 16%, which is actually pretty high if you think of it. Given that Thanksgiving is a family day, you would probably think that those numbers are a little on the higher side. Cyber Monday registered about 36% overall in this chunk. Black Friday, interestingly, was a little subdued compared to what we had experienced last year in terms of year-on-year growth. Thanksgiving, we registered a 61% growth over last year. So Thanksgiving Day was a very prolific day for these businesses that we were tracking. We have tried to break it down again in a very analytical sense and a very clearly keeping in track with a fanatically analytical sort of a mission. We have broken down the Black Friday into different day parts. So so let me sort of explain the day parts first. So the black grid or the black bar that you see, that indicates all the orders or impressions or clicks between midnight. So when I say midnight, it's like 00 hours on Thanksgiving Day to 6 a.m. on that particular day. So it's like before still 6 a.m. is the black part. The light blue corresponds to 6 a.m. to noon. The slightly darker version of blue corresponds to 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then you have the lightest part of blue, which is 6 p.m. till midnight. Now, the first segment or the first group of bars that you see pertain to the orders. The second group cluster sort of pertains to impressions, and the third one is corresponds to the clicks that we are seeing. So again, just to give a bit of a sense to the entire structure, impressions are typically an indication of people are searching for something. Clicks are when there is an active action taken and they sort of click on a particular ad. And last but not the least, we have orders, which is essentially when those clicks convert into a purchase, right? So impressions, if you look at it, what was interesting for me personally as I was doing this analysis was look at this time period, which is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., right? That 12-hour core day slot. Now, this is, remember, Black Friday. On Black Friday, you would typically expect the customers to be there at the mall rather than really sort of at the desktop, really going ahead and browsing and sort of doing searches for their products that they want to buy. So that was very interesting. I mean, as again, we have, I think, all read in reports, multiple reports, that there seems to be a big transition happening from offline to online. The malls, in fact, I was there at the mall like every year, to see the crowd. And honestly speaking, I mean, it was a little too surprising to see that the malls were not really as crowded as they have been in the previous years. Now, our data corresponds and sort of almost like validates that sort of a trend. If you look at the clicks as well, the clicks, interestingly, between 6 a.m. to noon were very high. So people were actually clicking on the different ads and checking out things. Now, I would tend to extrapolate this particular behavior into maybe there are two options. One is they were still checking out and probably buying online because all the Black Friday offers were there online as well. Or prior to sort of hitting the stores, they essentially were sort of clicking and doing a bit of a research before they really sort of went to the mall, etc., etc. The other interesting part was the orders. I'm sorry, the orders. If you really look at it, there was a big cluster, as you can see on Black Friday, which happened between 6 p.m. and midnight. Now that comes as a surprise because 6 p.m. And even before 6 p.m., if you really look at noon onwards till midnight, accounted for what, about 35 plus another about almost about 65% of all the orders on Black Friday happened between noon and midnight. That is again a bit of a surprise, primarily because I mean you would again expect the people to be there at the mall, sort of making those physical purchases. So these are some of the observations which are pretty unique this year. And the fundamental question that's there is Black Friday losing its importance as a critical or a key online shopping or an offline shopping or a retail day? That's the question which is out there. On Cyber Monday, we did the same sort of 6-hourly tracking, and we sort of tracked the orders, impressions, and clicks. Now, this was a little more predictable in terms of pattern, though I think one thing which stood out was if you look at the impressions, there were a lot of impressions, which is essentially a lot of searches happening during office hours, a lot of clicks happening during the office hours. But if you really look at the orders, they are very clearly clustered between 6 p.m. and midnight. So people were searching at office, but they were waiting all the way till the end of the day prior to committing to a purchase, right? So let me repeat that important statement again. They were searching during the office hours, but they concluded or completed their purchase between 6 p.m. and midnight. So that again was quite fascinating, despite probably knowing that Cyber Monday, the offers would be the same or consistent and wouldn't hopefully change through the entire day. People were still, like, it seems, waiting till the very last hours to sort of complete the purchase as such. So this is probably, as we have been seeing this trend, especially very prominent for the last 3 years now. And it seems that prior to committing to a purchase, the person is always hoping that there would be a better deal, a better promotion. And that's I think one of the big challenges that the retail industry today faces, is to, I mean, how much can you really keep on discounting or keep on sort of giving those promotional offers, and at what point do you stop? It's almost like seems that the customer behavior has almost like changed forever, and they keep on waiting and postponing their purchase till the very last minute. So which we felt was a pretty interesting thing, which was very much in alignment with almost like the sign of the times. Then we tracked something very interesting. Now this we were able to track using our proprietary technology, which has the capability of tracking individual paths to purchase. So we built this technology which we call LXR Insights, and through that, at a product or a SKU level, we are able to track those individual conversion paths. Now, fundamentally, and I'm very sorry for this background noise which is coming in, but again, sort of getting back to the point. So essentially, we were able to sort of track what was the number of hours, what was the time between the first click and the purchase. Now, in which the first one that you see is Thanksgiving Day. So the purchase would have to be completed on Thanksgiving Day, but it started 72 hours prior to that. The purchase was completed on Black Friday, but it started 68 hours prior to that. Purchase completed on Saturday, but it started 93 hours prior to that, right? So essentially, I think we were trying to understand if the speed at which the decision is almost like the customer is forced to make a decision or complete a purchase changes by the day. So the last click pertains to the specific day which has been where we have recorded the number of hours. As you can see, probably again understandable, they actually completed their purchase quicker on Cyber Monday. So in most cases, we have seen that Cyber Monday, they actually were the best deals. So that probably was one of the big reasons. And if you really combine that with the fact that a lot of the purchases were bunched in the last few hours of the day, that probably explains a lot of clicks which you can see as well. So clicks is between the first click and the purchase completed on Cyber Monday. There were 8 clicks there. So again, let me sort of try to simplify this. If you really look at the Cyber Monday column, so there were this purchase was completed on Cyber Monday, but there were 8 clicks leading to the purchase, which started 56 hours before. So we were essentially trying to track if a particular day has a particular impact on the customer psyche, or almost like customers' buying behavior. And as I think the results very clearly show that it has. So on Saturday, people took longer. They still waited on, and that moved on. But interestingly, Sunday was the second most, let us say, second sort of strongest day after Cyber Monday, which prompted the customer to finalize the purchase. Again, we believe because the Cyber Monday offers were anyway started between mostly on Sunday for most businesses, that may have led to the number of hours that you see or the latency that you see for Sunday to be fairly low. Thanksgiving, interestingly, was 72 hours. So that was again pretty interesting as well. Number of clicks shows as to how much the person is really engaged in this entire search and shop process, right? So if you have more clicks, that means they're looking at multiple alternatives prior to making a purchase. This is also for us an indication of the comparison shopping behavior. Let me have check this out, etc. Because through our technology, we are able to track each and every touch point that the final customer really has passed through prior to making a purchase or completing a purchase. We also tried to track, this was purely from the pay-per-click advertising perspective. We also tried to track the cost per order as such on an hourly basis. And as you can see, the cost per order had a very unique trend. And I don't even know as to whether most search marketers sort of have noticed this trend. But if you look at those lines, actually denote almost like the end of the day, right? Now remember what I mentioned earlier, the end of the day had the maximum volume of purchases as well. We were also observing very interestingly, for example, Cyber Monday, the average cost per click was about $1.46 versus an average of $2.12 for entire Cyber Monday. So for some reason, it seems that the clicks were cheaper and the orders were more, leading to a lower cost per order, specifically during the last few hours of the day. So that was again a very interesting observation. What it calls for essentially is, as search marketers, it's very important for you to adopt day-parting practices, because the companies which did not regulate their bids based on the search query trends and the clicks effectively ended up paying a lot more compared to marketers who were able to adjust bids based on the search queries, the intensity of search, etc. So that was again another pretty interesting observation. And again, if you are a search marketer or a paid search marketer, you should definitely take note of this very important graph that we are sharing with you. Moving on to the mobile side, in terms of mobile contribution, I think the most interesting component was the Thanksgiving Day. I mean, as you can see, 26.6% of all the clicks happened through mobile devices for the clients we tracked, and they accounted for about 22.86% of all the orders. Now you would see that Thanksgiving orders from mobile devices as a percentage is the highest. So our big question is where the customers actually enjoying Thanksgiving dinner with the family as they are expected to, or where they're busy mobile shopping. So that's again a very interesting observation, just given that we live in a world which can be categorized almost like we're perpetually on mobile. In fact, there was a very interesting research done by Nielsen and Google which showed that on an average we check our mobile phones about 150 times a day. So it's, even though we are with family or friends, it seems that we are still, our mind is occupied in terms of sort of really benefiting from the deal and making those purchases in the mobile device, even while we are probably having Thanksgiving dinner or with the family. So that was a very interesting observation. We tried to compare this same number with last year, not only the same 5 days, I would say, because the dates were different, but the same 5 days as such. So if you look at it, last year was a stark difference, and that is something that we found to be exceptionally interesting. If you notice on Thanksgiving Day, the percentage of total clicks which happened on the site, 22.32% happened from smartphones. When I say mobile device, I'm just purely referring to the smartphones. But they accounted for only about 10.5% of the orders, right? Now, if I were to get back to this year, the percentage of clicks happening from mobile devices is 26.6%. But they accounted for a huge jump, 23% of all the orders. So it very clearly was reflective of the fact that people are now much more comfortable not only searching and shopping using the mobile devices, but actually committing to the purchase and buying and completing their purchases using the mobile devices. Now, last year when we did this event, this particular webinar, I had mentioned that mobile last year seemed to be more of a top of the funnel strategy. But this is a very unique shift that we have observed this year, where we are seeing mobile not only being the top of the funnel, but they are pretty much all through the funnel. They seem to be having an impact and a different role to play. So one of the areas that, for example, we are commissioning a research is to understand, if you really look at the shopping funnel, what is the role that the mobile device really plays at each segment of the shopping funnel. We also have some sort of best practices as such, specifically when it comes to mobile search marketing. As I mentioned, at Netlexer, we have commissioned almost like a separate segment which is led by a product guru only on mobile search marketing. Just because, I mean, mobile is a force which has got to the point in 2 years, which probably none of us had really even dreamt of. It has got to a point where pretty much mobile is the internet. Right. So our recommendations were define a mobile specific strategy. I think no longer can you really adjust and customize and tweak your desktop search marketing strategy and try to fit it into mobile. Right. There has to be an exclusive mobile only search marketing strategy. Similarly, you can't really any longer try to tweak and make the website which is there for desktop website and try to really customize and sort of tweak it so that it sort of fits into the mobile device. You actually have to build a mobile first website. The third one is there seems to be an opportunity to incentivize the searchers with special offers, and this really came out of the research insight that people are actually making purchases on mobile devices. A jump from 10.57% to almost 23% is a ginormous jump. Mobile search intents are different, so effectively we have seen that there is a lot of connection in terms of when people are passing. So there is a lot of restaurants near me, or what are the shopping options near me, what are the malls near me, and so on. So I think the near me, there is a big locational component as well. But other than this, also the mobile search intents are often very unique and different compared to the desktop search intent. Top of the funnel searches, and we can fairly safely say that they are now mostly happening on mobile devices. So we are very clearly seeing that the desktop searches are definitely losing ground when it comes to the top of the conversion funnel. Mobile searches are definitely taking over the top of the funnel in terms of the entire process. We recommend very heavily that we should be conducting a search term or search query analysis for mobile search marketing or for mobile devices, because as we mentioned that a keyword is an expression of a search intent, and it's very important for the keyword to be in tune with the intent. Now the intent is different on mobile devices compared to what it is on desktops. Design mobile specific call to actions in the ad copies. Again, mobile is all about brevity, being very specific and having a call to action which is a little different compared to what you would normally have on a desktop, when the person probably has a little more time to really go through, browse through, and consider. Mobile is a lot more quick, and brevity is a lot more powerful when it comes to mobile devices or smartphones. Enable ad extensions attuned to mobile. Again, there are a lot of location extensions, phone extensions, which we very strongly recommend you should be a part of your mobile search marketing campaigns. And last but not the least, it's very important to have very specific optimization, real-time bid optimization solutions separately for your search campaigns. Now, these are the best practices which were prompted by a study that we had done, which showed that 50% of the search marketers, and when I say search marketers, paid search marketers, even today, do not really have a separate mobile search marketing campaigns. Now, if you really couple that with the fact that a significant chunk, probably over 70%, if you really look at all the websites, are not really mobile first or mobile compatible websites even, that really presents a very concerning scenario overall in terms of the marketing. Search marketing is just one piece of the entire marketing puzzle. At NetElixir, we are very passionate about sharing our thoughts, knowledge on mobile search marketing and how you should be running mobile campaigns. So if you have any questions at all, you are most welcome to really contact us. We would be more than happy to try answer your questions on mobile search marketing as such. I'll just conclude with 3 comments. Prior to the holiday season starting, actually to be precise on the 28th of October, I had been interviewed by the UPS Longitudes team, which is the UPS blog team, and I had sort of written an article for the blog, UPS Longitudes blog, where I had mentioned that at NetElixir, based on our prior research history and background, we are projecting a 12% growth, year-on-year growth in terms of online sales. So we stick firm to those projections still. Again, as I mentioned, for our customer base that we have been tracking, we are seeing about a little more than 20% in terms of year-on-year online sales growth. And the search queries, as I have mentioned again, has gone up by about 24% of the search impressions. So 12% is, we still remain firm on that 12% projection that we had made a month and a half back. In terms of our recommendations, we have 2 very specific recommendations. We would recommend us to test time-sensitive special promotions between 6 p.m. and midnight. As we have seen, there seems to be a lot of orders bunched towards the end of the day. So rather than having a day-long orders, you may want to come up with almost like a flash sale, 6-hour sale, 3-hour sale towards the end of the day. And specifically, we would recommend that very heavily for 13th of December, which happens to be Sunday, and 14th of December, which is Monday. And that can really sort of give you a good last-minute lift to the overall online sales that you sort of do from your side. Last but not the least, we would also recommend you to apply local search marketing strategies. So you can sort of select your specific geo, the area that you want to focus on 20th of December and 21st December, because you can really sort of win some last-minute local shoppers using that strategy. So that's what I had in this event. Let me, I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions, but for now, let me sort of hand it back to Ashley.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so at this time, I'd like to open the floor up for any questions, and please type your questions into the questions box that's located below the main webinar window. We'll do our best to answer as many questions as we possibly can, and for any of those that we don't get answered, we'll definitely reach out to you over email to get those taken care of. So what I'm going to do, let me go back. Let me think. There were some questions that I saw that had come through during your presentation. Okay, first one. What, in your opinion, would be the next biggest day this holiday season?
Well, we would, again, it has been normally a tradition, Ashley, that some people call it Green Monday or different names, but we would think that 13th of December, which is a Sunday, and 14th of December, which is a Monday. In fact, we would even think that 14th December Monday should actually be bigger than Black Friday this year. So that, in my opinion, and based on the research that we have done, should be the next big holiday sale day as such. And that's the reason we sort of also think that you should very clearly plan out for limited time promotion that you sort of done for your customers.
Perfect. The next question was, what retail category is growing faster than any of the others?
We are seeing that at this point in time, the home improvements and home furnishing category is growing at a faster pace. I mean, the growth, year-on-year growth, has been upwards of 30% for both home improvements and home furnishing. There are certain facets of consumer electronics, again, very, very product driven, which has been growing very fast as well. Some categories which are not doing as well as we had expected them to are things like, let us say, gourmet food, or so there are that probably would be one category which is not really growing as well. And then there are pet supplies, but again, pet supplies is not really a holiday category as such.
Great. Okay, we had another question was, do you know, or do you have any information about, you know, how did the hour of day traffic sales look like on Thanksgiving Day? And,
that's a great question, and we'll be more than happy to sort of share the information if you require. So Thanksgiving Day, we saw a tremendous spike in the last 6 hours of the day, so which is essentially 6 p.m. to midnight. So that price, so in those last 6 hours of the day, I believe about 52% of all the orders were completed, and we were looking at almost about 40 or 41% in terms of the total number of clicks, which happened in the last 6 hours of the day.
So as a follow-up to that, you know, year versus year, how did this year do versus last year on Thanksgiving?
So Thanksgiving, essentially, actually, this year we registered a 61% growth, an amazing 61%. I sort of repeat this again just because some of you may not really believe it. 61% growth in terms of overall sales volume this year compared to 2014 Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next one. How does the customer journey and transactions differ based on the price of purchase?
Well, again, the holiday season is a little different compared to the remainder of the year as such. So a lot really is impulse. Now, in terms of customer journey and the number of clicks, for an impulse product, the number of clicks is obviously lower, and the time taken to make a decision is lower. We in fact have a price cutoff. Anything, if your product or the average order value is less than $40, we have seen that the number of clicks required to complete the purchase is lower compared to specifically if you have a $250 product to sell, then the number of clicks really goes up. So again, that's how it really sort of differs. In terms of transactions, that's a great question, by the way. What we observe is the number of channels which are visited prior to completing the order also sort of goes up when it comes to a high value purchase. Again, probably may not really come as a surprise, but overall I think that was a pretty powerful insight that we got as well.
Great. Let me, there was another question that came in that was, how does the order pattern on Black Friday compare to last year's by time of day? If you happen to know.
That's a great question. So effectively, if you look at it, on Black Friday, that was a big surprise for us, right? We have never ever seen such a huge percentage searching and clicking. In terms of orders, again, they were like sort of fairly similar. It was like bunched towards the end of the day. But the percentage of searches and the percentage of clicks, that definitely was surprising, because we normally, specifically between, let us say, 6 a.m. and noon, I don't think we have ever seen such a high percentage of people searching and clicking. And again, remember, these are like not mobile clicks. We have separated out the mobile clicks. These are actually desktop clicks. So our question is, are people consciously and purposefully avoiding those long lines that everyone dreads these days? Or is it just my next question probably would be, is it almost like a sign of times? Has the customer behavior changed forever? And that's the reason why I made that rather strong statement, not to really scare any of our retail friends out there, that I mean, will Black Friday retain its importance as a key shopping day? I don't know.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Since most stores were open on Thanksgiving at 6 p.m., the growth is not surprising on Thanksgiving night. Now, how did the bids vary compared to Black Friday?
Very, very, very good question. Thanksgiving night, we got the cheapest clicks. So cheapest cost per click was essentially on Thanksgiving night. So that is where it shows the difference between how customers are really behaving and how marketers are really prepared for the customer changes. See, please understand that we are amidst a phenomenal transformation in terms of consumer behavior. It's a tremendous, almost like a tremendous flux time. And during this time, sometimes the inability of marketers or even agencies to really predict the customer behavior can be quite overwhelming at certain times. So the cost per click actually was very low on Thanksgiving night. It is probably because maybe the marketers, I would expect most of the marketers, at least the corporate marketing, was not really working, or let us say the agencies, most of them were not working. So as a result of which the bids were already preset to be a very low number, and as a result of which maybe their ad may not really have showed up as high as they may have expected it to. Yeah.
Okay, we have quite a few questions still coming in. So I think a follow-up to that one, there was a question about, did you look at what time of day, like the purchase started, or what day the purchase, they started the purchase to where they finished the purchase?
So we'll have to actually calculate. So these 96 hours, what was the time I sort of meant? 93 hours, I think, was Saturday and so on. So if you really back calculate, that's the exact number of days. So it's like 93 by 24, and you get to that particular day, right? The interesting part is, which I still don't know as to what is the answer for that, is why did so many people at such a high sort of complete their purchase on Saturday? Somehow I feel that a lot of Black Friday deals were extended to Saturday, and that's the reason maybe many people really completed the purchase on Saturday. Or maybe they thought that they sort of missed the opportunity, they will not really get a better deal or whatever it was. But the Saturday completion of an order was very interesting for me.
Okay, let's take another one. Do you have any insights about search and offline purchase in stores on Black Friday?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, we don't have the offline data yet. As you can see, this all this information is very, very recent, because Cyber Monday just was about 2 days back. So we are yet to get all the store data. But as soon as we get the data, if you send us an email to me or Ashley, we'll be more than happy to get back to you once we are able to receive that information.
Yeah, and another question that came in was, did you have any information about, did free shipping play a role? Did it affect the drop in AOV?
That's a great question. Again, free shipping, it's become a norm now. So specifically on the key days, this Thanksgiving weekend, free shipping was almost a hygiene factor essentially, right? So that was again a pretty interesting thing for us to really notice. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, we still get them. Okay, so next question. Since there were so many private sales on Cyber Monday, distributed primarily through email signups or social media likes, do you have any insights about search and email signup, social media likes to get private sale offers?
That's a beautiful question. We haven't aggregated all the information yet. We should be able to have all this information hopefully in the next week or so. We are sort of tracking all this, as I mentioned, using our Alexa Insights platform. So give us maybe another, at most a week, we should be able to aggregate and put these pieces together and email it back to you. Fantastic question, though.
Okay, we still have a few more minutes. If there's any other questions, we'll be happy to take them. If not, I'll just, oh, there is, hold on. Yes, are you able to provide any insight on cross-border international e-commerce?
Great question. Again, this is like pending full analysis, Marie, but at this point in time, I think what we are looking at is the export businesses or export companies actually had a 27% year-on-year growth compared to the companies which had just focused only on the domestic sales. Again, we will need to really sort of segregate and crunch those numbers based on the different categories. But it seems that the international orders had a pretty important role to play, specifically for a lot of export businesses operating in US. In fact, I was sort of doing a panel discussion earlier today in Baltimore, and there I mentioned that there was this news article which came up in one of the leading Indian publications, that Black Friday is now celebrated in India as well. And we have customers, Indian customers living in India who are actually purchasing from sites in US, right? So are we again looking at almost like the breaking down of the territorial borders, and it seems to be becoming almost like one single market. We expect those international trends to really continue strengthening over the next many years.
Great. And you had another one that just came in. Does tablet shopping fall in mobile?
At this time, we have taken the tablet shopping purely as a part of desktop, not mobile. So mobile in our study is restricted almost exclusively to the smartphones.
Okay. So we still have a few minutes if you guys have any questions. If not, we can conclude. So speak now or forever hold your peace. Just kidding. You guys, if there's any questions that you think of after the webinar today, feel free to email us, and let me just put that slide up for us really quick. Cool. There it is. Okay. Yes, so if you have any additional questions, and I know that some of you wanted some additional insights, so we can reach out to those as well, but feel free to drop an email there. And let me just go back to our beautiful holiday slide while I wrap things up here. I'd like to thank our speaker, Udayan Bose, and also a special thank you goes out to all of you, the audience, for spending the last 45 minutes with us. And we hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. And before we conclude, I'm just going to put back up that contact us slide in case you want to jot that down really quickly. And also, some of you have requested a copy of the presentation, so we can definitely get that over to you. You should be seeing that in an email within the next 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, happy holidays from the entire NetElixir family, and we will have our next webinar next year. So happy holidays and a wonderful new year to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.